Coach, I was going to ask about that crazy comeback y'all had and that wild fifth set. Can you just talk about how that match went down?
Yeah, well, we came out not so strong, and they came out fired up. I mean, they're a really talented team across the board. They have been for years. They took it to us in the first set. We weren't present. It didn't seem like we were present, and so second set we're up. We should have won the second set, and we just the wheels fell off a little bit at the end, So we had not a Newt Rockne speech or anything like that in between our little 5-minute break. I'm like, listen, winners find a way. We got to compete. We got to compete harder. We got to be locked in. My good players need to be good players right now. We can't take a break. There's no plays off. And so we came out in the third, and it was a tight set, 25-23. The fourth set, we made some changes. We put some new people in some different spots and kind of sparked a little energy, And the fifth set, though, we actually lost the match, 18-16. Lost. Match over. And if you watch the video, you see my assistant jump up. He's like, hey, they're in the net. We challenged it, won the challenge. Ended up winning 24-22. That's the second time in my career that's happened. It happened in 22 against Midwestern here. Lost the match, challenged it, got the call, won the match. So don't recommend it. not something you want to do on a regular basis, but man, how gritty is my team? It's just, I was super proud of them for not being at their best and still finding a way, and for some younger players, like Julia Hopkins came in and had 10 plus kills for us, playing a position she's never played before, and credit to her, she's been waiting and just, we talk to them, you've heard me say this before, we talk about opportunities all the time, and she had an opportunity, she made the most of it, and it helped her team, and her team went crazy for her. That was the best part. The support that these girls give each other. There's 20 kids on my team. I play 9 or 10. So more than half of my team is normally not playing in a match. And they're just still right there for each other, with each other. It's just the best possible scenario for us right now.
Coach, before the reverse sweep, which obviously was a phenomenal game, you guys actually scored the third most assists in program history in the 3-set match that you guys had played just before that. What does that kind of show you as the epitome of this team, being that this team is so close-knit together, like you've said in previous interviews?
Well, I think that, we have multiple players that can score. We're not dependent on one kid. Obviously last week we had a player, Maddie Parrish, who just went off and was otherworldly. She was spectacular, National Player of the Week. We don't expect that every week, but we have a lot of players that can score. I think Evelyn this week had a week that could be National Player of the Week, caliber type performance, So we're not just banking on one kid. It makes us hard to defend. But like you said, we've got a group that wants to win regardless of who's scoring the points, and whether they're in the match or on the bench, they're all in, and that's something you really have to appreciate as a coach, because it's hard to not play. All these kids were their top dog on their team, from wherever they came from, and it's hard to not be that kid, and they're engaged, they're competing in practice, they're working their tails off in the weight room, everything that you would expect, a competitive kid to do. And so even without the payoff sometimes of the playing time, and so I give them all the credit for that. That's amazing that they're bought in like that, and I appreciate it. Comes from our leadership, our captains, and our people that are on the court, that they appreciate those kids so much that it's not a us and them, it's just an us, and that's a really awesome feeling.
How do you feel about the matches coming up, especially the one in Canyon against WT?
Yeah, they'll be ready. They'll be ready. So we have to play well. It's their place. It's really tough to win in the box for sure. We've only won there a few times, and so we have to be prepared for a dogfight. In a crowd that's going to be relentless. Which is awesome. I expect that. And I hope our players are ready to compete. I think we surprised some people that a couple weekends ago when we beat DBU and WT back to back, but we didn't surprise us, so we have to come in with an expectation to compete. If we came in like we did last weekend, we will get rolled, and so we have to come in with a different mindset and a different expectation when we go up there.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.